There are nights when farmers stay awake not because of the weather, but because of the rustling sounds at the forest's edge. It only takes one herd of wild boars charging down to turn hectares of corn and rice, just days from harvest, into flattened ground before sunrise. Early in the morning, the entire team loaded equipment onto an old Ford Ranger, pushing through rough dirt roads straight toward the hotspot. We split into 3 specialized groups: tracking, recon, and interception. Let me be clear, this is not a recreational activity. This is a structured, disciplined management operation aimed at protecting the safety of communities at the foot of the mountain. To locate the herd, the tracking team relied entirely on ground signs. They carefully studied freshly disturbed soil and deep hoof prints pressed into dry areas. Wild boars tend to follow familiar trails. By reading these signs, the team could accurately predict their direction. Once signs were confirmed, the tracking team applied pressure from behind, forcing the animals to change direction, pushing them away from routes leading down to the fields. Realizing their main path had been cut off, the herd retreated into dense brush to hide. The area formed a perfect natural camouflage, completely limiting human visibility. At that point, the tracking team released trained dogs. Their keen sense of smell became the most effective tool to locate and flush out stubborn boars. While the dogs worked through the undergrowth, team members positioned themselves downwind, standing guard at the forest edge. Safety rules here are strict. Wait patiently. Only when the dogs push the animals into a clear, isolated space can the situation be handled, ensuring no risk to either humans or the dogs. Pressure from the brush forced the boars out into a long grassy stretch along the forest edge. The interception team was already in position. We wore high-visibility orange gear, a mandatory safety standard in the United States to ensure clear identification in the woods. When a boar appeared, its calm behavior showed it was familiar with the terrain. Moments later, it dropped, no longer a threat to the crops. You may notice the use of suppressed equipment in wildlife management. This is standard practice to minimize noise pollution, avoid stressing other animals, and prevent disturbance to nearby residents. After securing the outer perimeter, we moved deeper into the forest to locate the rest of the herd. There, we encountered the most critical target, the lead boar. This large individual guided the herd's movement, determining direction at every step. It paused frequently, sniffing the air. Wild boars have an exceptionally sharp sense of smell. The entire team froze in place, maintaining complete silence. We had to wait patiently for the lead boar to lower its guard before handling the situation safely. Removing the lead animal would disorient the rest, making the herd easier to manage. Once the leader was gone, the herd structure broke apart. The remaining boars scattered toward the farm boundary. A small group attempted to cross a dirt road, the final line before reaching nearby crops. Wild boars can travel dozens of miles in a single night searching for food. Knowing this, the interception team had already established a defensive line along the road. By holding their positions, they successfully prevented the herd from crossing, completely cutting off the risk of damage to neighboring farms. The final moments of the operation unfolded along a narrow trail, where the last individuals were cornered. When pressured, wild boars instinctively choose the easiest path and sometimes charge forward with tremendous force. Relying on professional training and steady nerves, the team member held position and handled the situation safely right on the trail. That decisive action officially brought the mission to a close.
A wild hog hunt begins with more urgency than ever before. In this region, feral hogs have become an invasive force, causing millions of dollars in agricultural damage. Our mission today is clear: control their numbers and protect the local ecosystem. Using the dense forest terrain to our advantage, the team quickly launched a fast-paced sweep and intercept strategy. Modern rifles were locked in, tracking gear ready. This isn't just a hunt. This is a survival race for environmental and economic balance. The decisive battle for order has officially begun. We set out at daybreak, immediately deploying the strategy mapped out from the start. Soon after, I spotted a herd moving along the hillside. Seizing the tactical opportunity, I targeted and dropped the largest hog in the group. Taking down that first key target disrupted the herd and gave us a huge tactical advantage, an excellent beginning for the hog control mission. Moments later, startled by the gunshot, another herd bolted through a narrow passage, scrambling for escape. We had already predicted this route. Without hesitation, we opened fire and took down several critical targets. Back-to-back wins lit a fire in the whole team. We were ready for the next chase. My teammate Jack then showed impressive tactical instincts. He quickly cut off the escape path of a panic-stricken hog. The animal ran straight into Jack's ambush zone. Wasting no time, he squeezed the trigger and dropped the target instantly. His decisive action eliminated another threat and helped secure peace for the area. From a ridge across the valley, I continued scanning the terrain and spotted a hog that had let its guard down. Sensing the perfect opportunity, I took the shot and brought it down immediately. Its moment of carelessness came with a price, another step toward restoring safety to this land. Using long-range sweep tactics, Jack detected another moving target far in the distance. He dialed in his scope, made his adjustments, and let a precise burst of shots fly, leaving the hog no room to escape. Eventually, the target fell, proving Jack's exceptional long-range shooting skills, the mark of a seasoned, battle-tested hunter. The final target, a massive boar, charged out from a thick patch of brush. We had predicted its path. In an instant, it was met with a clean, well-placed shot that brought it down, closing today's hunt with a decisive and complete finish. The last gunshot faded, marking the end of the mission. Our greatest achievement today was taking control of the destructive herd and restoring peace to the local community. We packed up carefully, ensuring every harvested animal was properly recorded in full compliance with US hunting laws and bag limits. As we rode back on the pickup truck, the whole team let out a collective sigh of relief. Last night was a sleepless one for Mr. Henry's family. Their vast garden, dozens of acres, built with years of hard work and pride, had been torn apart in an instant by a rampaging herd of wild hogs. And this morning, the moment the urgent alert chimed from my iPhone 17 Pro Max, I shot out of bed. Bad news spreads fast, and our team didn't waste a single second. This wasn't a recreational hunt. This was a mission, a duty. A fight to protect the peace of a small Northern American village bordering the deep woods. The air crackled with tension as we geared up. Each of us checked our weapons and equipment one last time, eyes locked with determination. Then, we rolled out into the icy dawn, mist still crawling along the forest floor, heading straight toward the clash between man and the wild. Our truck tore down the winding dirt trail, carrying us deeper into the damp, shadowy forest. The air smelled of wet soil and fallen leaves. Every hunter gripped their weapon a little tighter. Everyone knew what was coming. From somewhere in the distance, guttural growls echoed through the trees. The hogs were close, hiding in the underbrush. I took position at a narrow opening between two old trees, the perfect ambush point. And then, from the brush, a massive dark shape burst out. One strike, one clean moment. The beast dropped instantly, our first threat neutralized. A breath of relief drifted through the cold morning fog, and the hunt officially began. To tighten the sweep, our team leader signaled the release of the hounds. They bolted through the thick woods, noses glued to the ground, tracking every scent left behind. Moments later, a sudden chorus of barking tore through the silence. The dogs had cornered another hog. I climbed to a high vantage point, held my breath, eyes trained on the movement. A dark blur flashed between the trees. I didn't hesitate. Victory out here doesn't come from brute strength alone. It comes from instinct, experience, and a team that moves as one. That's how we protect this forest, and more importantly, the people living beyond it. Minutes passed with nothing but silence, until a faint rustling cut through the still air. All eyes snapped toward the brush. Nick, our captain, heard it first. Exactly as we expected, a wild hog charged out, clueless that it had stepped right into a kill zone. Nick reacted instantly. Steady aim, smooth trigger pull. One decisive shot. Threat eliminated. Peace restored. We continued westward, navigating the thick forest when my GPS beeped, an unmistakable sign. A hog appeared beneath the canopy with no warning, no time to second guess. I planted my feet, aimed, and fired. The shot shattered the quiet woods. The hog bolted, but precision and persistence were on our side. It didn't get far. You saw that moment, didn't you? Sometimes victory isn't luck, it's patience, grit, and reading the land better than the beast itself. The earlier shots had sent the whole herd into chaos. Shapes scattered everywhere through the trees. And then, there, a massive shadow barreled forward at terrifying speed. This time, Jack, our sharpshooter, was up. He steadied his rifle, exhaled, squeezed the trigger. A clean hit! But wild hogs are built like tanks, and this one refused to fall. It pushed through the brush and vanished. Even in moments like that, we stand proud. Every failed chase teaches us something. Patience, teamwork, composure in the wild. With a decent haul secured, we began the trek back to the village before nightfall. The trail was calm, until a massive silhouette appeared out of nowhere. No hesitation. I raised my rifle and fired. The final threat of the day fell. A wave of relief washed over the team. The sweep was complete, not just with trophies, but with the peace of knowing the villagers could sleep safely again. And remember, every step we take out here follows US hunting laws and regulations to the letter. As we left the forest, I glanced back. The sun was dipping behind the mulberry ridge. A long day ended, but the echoes of the hunt still hanging in the air. 3 consecutive nights, the eerie shrieks echoed from the deep forest. The wild boar herd had come dangerously close to the village, tearing down the chicken coop and trampling over my mother's vegetable garden. Patience had reached its limit. As the first light of dawn broke, we made up our minds to take justice into our own hands. Would we return safely from this dangerous mission? Watch until the end to find out. We quickly discussed our strategy beside the pickup truck. Bright orange clothes to avoid friendly fire, specialized boots for a firm grip on the rugged terrain, and our trained hunting dogs eager for the hunt, all waiting for the signal. The rifles were fully loaded. This wasn't a leisurely stroll. It was a mission. As we ventured deeper into the forest, the air became heavy and silent, hiding countless dangers. We moved in a single line, maintaining a safe distance to ensure both safety and mutual support via radio. When we found the first sign, freshly dug earth, we quickly switched to alert mode. The dogs were released, darting into the dense bushes, pushing the boars toward the trap we had set. I moved toward the barking dogs. Suddenly, a dark figure flashed through the leaves ahead. There it was! I held my breath, slowly raising my rifle. As the boar came into full view, I squeezed the trigger decisively. Boom! The boar staggered a few steps and collapsed. A perfect way to start today's hunt.
The sky faded into the last streaks of sunset.
By midday, the sun blazed through the canopy. According to the plan, I remained in a fixed position at a strategic post. Sweat streamed down my face, but my mind was laser-focused, ready to fire at any moment. Suddenly, the crunch of footsteps on dry leaves grew closer and louder. I immediately got into position, eyes locked on the forest ahead. A massive wild boar rushed through my line of sight. I tracked it with the rifle, calculating speed and distance, then fired. The bullet struck the target with precision. Almost simultaneously, gunshots from other posts echoed. Each shot was another threat eliminated from the village. At the next ambush point, another fierce boar was flushed out by the dogs. Its massive size made my heart race faster than usual. The giant boar, hit by the bullet, wildly turned and charged straight toward me. The threat of death was close, but I yanked the trigger again, stopping its charge just a few feet away from me. That was incredibly close. My heart was pounding uncontrollably. Although I didn't manage to bring down the giant boar, I felt a huge sense of relief that I was still safe. If I hadn't fired in time, I shuddered to think of what might have happened. The afternoon sun had softened. After that close call, I became even more cautious. When another wild boar appeared, I stayed perfectly calm, letting it approach into the perfect shooting range, waiting for the right moment. I wasn't in a hurry, not trembling, my breath steady. My fingers smoothly pulled the trigger. The boar dropped instantly, rolling down the slope. The hunt continued. I crouched behind a thick bush, aiming my rifle at a path frequently used by the wild boars. Just as expected, a dark figure appeared. As it emerged from the underbrush, my bullet found its mark, ending the destructive boar's life right there. Before heading back, we checked the GPS and saw the signal of the dogs converging at a single point. Their barking filled the forest. We quickly approached, and the scene unfolded. The last boar surrounded by our brave dogs. I locked my scope on the boar and squeezed the trigger. The final shot rang out, clean and sharp, sealing the end of a long, tense hunting day. Returning to the edge of the forest, the Jeep Wrangler was already waiting. Despite being exhausted, we loaded the truck with our spoils, feeling a quiet sense of pride. On the ride back, a wave of release and peace washed over me. The mission was complete.
Starting out in a dense thicket, Thomas's team held their breath and waited. There was a target fully in sight. Calm and steady, Thomas raised his rifle, locking in on the mark. Bang! A sharp crack echoed as the bullet pierced the beast's body. They dropped on the spot, no chance to fight back. A perfect start to the hunt. But will the journey ahead be just as smooth? Or are tougher challenges lurking behind every leaf and bush? Continuing the hunt, it wasn't long before Thomas spotted a group of wild boars gathered, unaware they were right in his sights. From a distance, he raised his rifle, finger tightening on the trigger. Bang! The shot rang out, sending the herd scattering in every direction. The hunter's instinct kicked in. Thomas didn't miss a beat, unleashing a rapid series of shots as smoke curled from the barrel. Bang, bang, bang. Each round fired in quick succession. One, then two boars dropped amidst the chaos of fleeing beasts. Then came the moment of truth. Thomas took careful aim and squeezed the trigger one last time. A fatal shot pierced through another boar, went down in the tall grass. What do you think? Thomas's skills are sharp, right? But make no mistake, today's hunt was no easy feat. Elsewhere, Thomas's teammates lay in ambush as planned. Just as predicted, two fleeing boars charged right into their line of fire like walking straight into the trap. Without hesitation, sharp gunshots cracked through the air. Bang! One was hit. It struggled to drag itself forward, but had no strength left to escape. The other panicked and spun to flee, but it was no match for the hunter's cold, unwilling gaze. The scope locked tight on the target from afar. A decisive shot rang out. Bang! The beast collapsed, sharing the same fate as its fallen companion. Determined to wipe out every last beast, Thomas's team pressed on through the night, moving to a nearby field. Under the cloak of darkness, using infrared scopes, they spotted a large herd of wild boars closing in, threatening the livestock. Bang! The opening shot rang out. Target number one was down. Thomas swiftly tracked another moving target through his scope. Steady and precise bang. The second boar tumbled and went down. Shots continued to fly, controlled and calculated. One by one, two more beasts fell. See that? No matter how thick the darkness, nothing can shake the resolve and skill of a true hunter. Moving deeper into the night, Thomas silently signaled his team to hold their breath. Up ahead, another group of boars was busy rooting around. Calm and focused, he raised his rifle, eyes locked on every subtle breath of his targets. Then came a shot that'll leave you amazed. Two bees stood shoulder to shoulder, almost just half a step apart. Thomas squeezed the trigger. Bang! The bullet tore through them both in one clean pass. Both dropped simultaneously, not a sound escaped. After a long night, the team decided it was time to pack up and head back. Just as the hunt seemed to be wrapped up perfectly, a soft rustle echoed from ahead. A lone dark figure came into clear view. Without hesitation, Thomas raised his rifle and squeezed the trigger. Bang! The shot rang out, breaking the stillness of the night. The beast faltered, then dropped, no fight left in it. The hunt has come to a close, and the team returns with a substantial haul. More importantly, peace has been restored to this land. This victory is a testament to the hunter's skill, seamless teamwork, and the dedicated support from the local authorities. Tonight, the community can finally rest easy.
As dawn broke and mist still clung lightly to the treetops, our Ford Bronco Wild Track came to a halt at the trailhead leading into an area frequently targeted by wild boars. In recent weeks, local farmers have reported an increase in damage, especially near corn and soybean fields. Therefore, today's mission is not just a hunt, but also a control effort to prevent these wild boars from charging into the crops. The team double-checked the radios and launched the drone to map out their movement. We split into teams, advancing into the forest edge where we knew things would get intense today. As soon as we stepped into the forest corridor, the sudden rustling sound cut through the air. A large herd of wild boars rushed across the trail, heading straight for the cornfield below. The team leader immediately shouted, "Hold the left flank, cover low," ensuring the herd wouldn't break formation and charge down into the fields. Thanks to the clear morning visibility, we fired quickly and accurately, taking down several boars in the group, forcing them to veer off into the forest rather than heading for the crops. After the herd scattered, the forest edge fell into eerie silence. The drone picked up several boars that had broken off and were running in different directions. The team quickly split into smaller groups. The hunting dogs were released to track the nearest boar, their job being to herd and confuse the animal, but not to bite. As one boar was cornered near a narrow trail, I closed in and quickly finished it off, ensuring it wouldn't circle back to the outer farm area. Advancing a few hundred meters deeper into the woods, the scout team soon spotted another lone wild boar rooting around under low shrubs. This type of boar is more likely to venture into crops, as they are less cautious. The team employed the converging arc strategy. One person covered the wind direction, while two others flanked from the sides. When we had a safe distance, we took swift action, eliminating the threat and securing the forest edge from further risk. After clearing our spoils, the team moved south to save time. While navigating a dry leaf-covered trail, another wild boar suddenly dashed across in front of us. It was clearly disoriented after being separated from the herd, running unpredictably and posing a danger. We quickly adjusted our formation, not advancing straight ahead, but forcing it towards denser forest to avoid it crashing into the crops. When it ran according to our predicted path, we executed a precise finish, maintaining the peace of this land. The next area we entered was thick with vegetation, with many tall trees and fallen trunks, making the drone ineffective. We slowed our pace, careful to avoid an ambush. A female wild boar appeared along the moist earth edge, showing signs of moving towards the livestock area. We took a higher position, keeping low to prevent her from charging down. When the moment was right, my teammates swiftly handled the boar with minimal noise, securing the area. We scoured the area to ensure no remaining targets were left behind, then quickly moved out of the dense forest. The stronger daylight made it easier for us to spot movements. A medium-sized wild boar appeared in an open field, trying to cross towards the farm entrance. Instead of shooting immediately, we used the block ahead and pressure from behind tactic. 2 people ran around to block its path, while 1 person kept watch from behind. The boar was forced down a safe path, where we handled it quickly and efficiently, ensuring it couldn't loop back and cause further damage. The team was starting to show signs of fatigue, so the leader signaled for a final check. "Look over there!" A small wild boar appeared at the edge of the grass field. The team quickly surrounded it, maintaining a wide circle to prevent it from charging downwards. Thanks to the morning light and the flat terrain, controlling the boar's movements was easy. The final target was taken down cleanly, bringing the entire Forest Edge operation to a safe and controlled close. It was time to head back. The entire hunt this morning was conducted under the supervision and regulations set by local wildlife management authorities in the United States. The main goal remained to protect the crops, safeguard the farm areas, and ensure the safety of the team. Feral hogs are highly adaptable invasive species. When pressured by shrinking habitats, they tend to move closer to residential areas and farmland, creating risks that cannot be ignored. Ignoring their presence is not a safe option for local residents. Beyond carrying diseases, they are increasingly brazen in damaging communities. Our mission today is to re-establish safe boundaries, intervene selectively and legally, and prevent potential hazards from escalating. The wide cloven footprints pressed deep into the damp soil led us to this densely wooded hillside. Feral hogs are highly adaptable invasive species. Human pressure has forced them to shift to nocturnal activity, hiding carefully in the brush during the day. We understood that without establishing a control perimeter here, the hogs would spill down once night fell, directly threatening crops and community safety. When an individual appeared within the controlled corridor, safety protocols were activated. A decisive intervention was carried out to resolve the situation humanely. This is the responsibility of a professional American hunter, to protect the community, maintain balance, and act only when truly necessary. After handling the initial hotspots, we moved down the hillside to get a full view of the slope. In this rugged terrain, technology became a key factor. Using high-powered binoculars and the iPhone 17's GPS, we spotted an individual moving quickly through the upper brush. Even though the target was in sight, intervention would only proceed once all safety conditions were fully confirmed. From the low-angle perspective, the hillside behind served as a perfect natural backstop. This action not only protected the farmland below, but also ensured that the operation remained safe, humane, and fully compliant with the law. The herding strategy continued to work effectively. We held our positions, ready to neutralize each successive individual being forced out of its hiding spot. While the support team was closing the angles at the base of the hill, Blake's group quietly set up a shooting position on the windy hilltop. Feral Hog Society operates matriarchally, and this experienced female acts as the brain, guiding the herd's incursions into the crops. A swift, well-timed decision was made to neutralize this leading individual. This action ensured the animal experienced minimal suffering while forcing the herd to retreat back into the deep forest, rather than continuing to damage the fields. Pressure from the hilltop forced the herd out of their hiding spots, moving down the valley according to the drive and block strategy. From the observation tower, we had an ideal vantage point to execute the critical step, target sorting. Even though they are an invasive species, we never act recklessly. Our control measures are designed to reduce pressure on the area rather than disrupt the ecosystem. Every decision is carefully calculated to ensure the absolute safety of other native wildlife in the region. Soon after, each dangerous hog passing through the cleared corridor was decisively stopped. You know, protecting the overall ecosystem is just as important as controlling the feral hogs. Once the forward team had stabilized the situation in the valley, we immediately initiated Phase 2, the pincer strategy to tighten the perimeter. Short, concise commands crackled over the radio, coordinating each group as they moved into key blocking positions. At the same time, maintaining constant radio communication allowed us to mentally map one another's locations, ensuring safe firing angles and completely eliminating the risk of crossfire. The objective was not eradication, but control of movement. Seamless team coordination funneled the hogs into a pre-selected terrain zone, one with the best natural backstop, where final interventions could be carried out with precision and safety. The drone from above helped us identify the final hidden spots on the hillside, areas that would be easily missed with the naked eye. Support teams, including professional hunting dogs, were deployed in a controlled manner to force the remaining individuals out of sensitive zones, rather than letting them continue pressuring the farmland below. We only intervened once all safety factors were confirmed: clear line of sight, controlled movement direction, and no impact on nearby residents. This is never a desirable situation, but with agricultural damage in the US exceeding $1.5 billion annually, selective control is necessary to maintain long-term balance. Once the mission was complete, the site was tidily cleared and resources were responsibly utilized. As the sun set, peace returned, and the lesson remained clear: timely management is always better than belated remediation. Upon returning to my hometown, the first thing that hit my eyes wasn't peace, it was devastation. The wild boars had crossed every limit, mercilessly destroying the hard-earned crops my family had worked so hard for. The sorrow was unbearable, and we couldn't sit idly by. Would we succeed in restoring peace to this land? Join us to find out. We made our way to the edge of the dense forest, identified as the wild boar's stronghold, and released a pack of elite hunting dogs. As the four-legged warriors began their task, we silently spread out, using the terrain to hide and position ourselves in strategic locations, ready to act at any moment. I chose an ambush position on the narrow trail beside a field of golden grass, a strategic spot to intercept the herd. From afar, the dogs' barking grew louder, signaling that the prey was being driven out. When the time was right, the sharp crack of the rifle rang out. The lead boar, weighing over 150 kilograms, was instantly brought down, lying still on the golden field. The rest of the herd ran toward David, and I immediately relayed the news to him. The first shot shattered their formation, and the herd scattered like a hive of bees. When David received the message over the radio, his eyes scanned every small movement around him. And there they were! The wild boars were charging straight at him. Without hesitation, David raised his rifle and swiftly squeezed the trigger at the first moving target, bringing it down instantly. Yet, the battle wasn't over. When another boar, panicked and trailing behind the herd, broke away, another shot rang out, cleanly taking it down. His decisiveness showed the skill of an experienced hunter. We quickly realized that the herd was larger than we had anticipated and had split into smaller groups, moving unpredictably. So, David and I decided to coordinate the pursuit, relying on the unspoken understanding we had honed over the years. About 30 minutes later, frantic barking from the dogs ahead signaled that they had cornered a few of the prey. We moved swiftly toward them. At the moment the beast bolted through a gap, trying to escape, a shot rang out, sending the entire herd fleeing westward in terror. The chase pushed us deeper into their territory. The survivors were now more cunning and wary than before. Minutes later, a boar was flushed out from the edge of the forest. Seeing it, I squeezed the trigger repeatedly, but its thick hide and incredible speed allowed it to escape, vanishing into the dense forest. We had no choice but to venture deeper into the forest, where it was hiding, to neutralize this threat once and for all. Following the ground trails and the barking of the dogs, we were led to its hiding spot. This was the most dangerous moment yet. There it was. Without giving it a chance to counterattack, I raised my rifle and ended it in an instant. In this hunt, reflexes were the key. A second of hesitation, and I could be the one lying down. The blazing sun began to wear down our strength and focus. Moving according to the dog's barking, we had to be extremely cautious, as every little sound could betray our presence. Suddenly, a dark shape flashed in front of us. My body reacted before my brain could even command it, and I brought the threat down in a single breath. Realizing that the pursuit in the dense forest was draining too much energy, we decided to split up and lay in ambush at narrow paths where the wild boars would surely run through when cornered. Just as expected, another boar was pushed straight into my position. This time, there was no escape for it. The gunshot rang out, decisive and cold, taking down the aggressive creature with precision. Just when we thought it was all over and began to pack up, the dog started barking again from a bush nearby. There was still one more left. As soon as the silhouette of the wild boar came into view, my rifle spoke up. However, as I got closer, I realized it was still breathing. So, I gave it one final shot, ending its life swiftly and humanely. When the battle was over, we loaded our trophies onto the Land Rover Defender, the vehicle that had taken us through every treacherous terrain. Our mission to protect this land was complete. Just a few wild boars are enough to tear up the land, but now dozens are rooting through the fields, destroying everything in their path. Not only are they ravaging crops, but also invading entire fruit orchards. What's worse, they hide in the thick hillsides, making them nearly impossible to track down. The situation has become critical, and we could no longer stand by. Every urgent step we took carried a single goal: stop the destruction before it wipes everything out. By 5 a.m., we were at the base of the hill, fully geared, fully alert. Every step was quiet, every sense on edge, listening for the faintest sound. For a long while, nothing moved. Then suddenly, a shadow bolted past, completely off guard. My finger tightened on the trigger. Boom! The boar dropped instantly. A surprise shot, but for seasoned hunters like us, there's no such thing as luck. Only preparation. Scanning the far side of the hill, we saw how well the boars had blended into the thick underbrush. They knew how to hide. Wasting no time, we deployed the hounds, widening the sweep to flush them out. Minutes later, the wild boars were forced out of hiding. I dialed in the scope, and just like that, one by one, they were taken down with precise, clean shots. One more threat eliminated. The battlefield was back under control. We were winning one careful move at a time. No time to relax. Another pack of hounds caught the scent and moved fast, driving the prey right toward our kill zone. The moment was perfect. A single crack echoed through the hills. The shot was dead on. A heavy thud followed. Chase was over. One more area secured from destruction. Even after that win, we didn't stop. Eyes wide open, scanning for movement. Some boars ran in groups, others were lone roamers. I focused on the stragglers. A quick aim, a cold pull of the trigger. The shot was precise. The beast dropped, a warning to any others lurking nearby. Gunfire echoed from every side, and boars fell within seconds. The area was cleared, not by chance, but by calculated, confident action. Our team pushed deeper into dense terrain, where thick canopy blocked sightlines. Every step had to be measured patient, quiet, deliberate. Then movement. I took the shot. A single round to a vital point. Silence returned. And in that silence, one truth remained. Only the patient survive. Last rays of sunlight pierced the trees. We scanned the land for any stragglers before darkness could cloak them again. And then, a flash of movement. A shot rang out. Another massive boar collapsed onto the ground. For a second, everything went still. Then, we pressed forward again, ready for whatever was next. With the trail running cold, we deployed the drone scanning the terrain from above, locking in positions and setting up ambush points. Everything was in place. The trap was set. The remaining boars didn't stand a chance against the seamless teamwork between man and dog. In just minutes, success signals came in a coordinated strike executed to perfection.